Good afternoon and thank you all for joining us on this edition of Business Today. It's the 12th of July 2016. My name is Joy Doreen Bira, and on the show today we're going to give you an update on what's happening in South Sudan. Hopefully we can be able to speak to some of the Kenyans living in South Sudan to bring us up to speed on how the fighting has affected their daily or day-to-day businesses. But also in studio we have Ambassador Dennis Awori, who is the chairman for Toyota Kenya. Is going to be talking to us about what exactly is new with the new generation of cars that Toyota unveiled not far from today. So we're going to be having that conversation as well. But also a little later, we're expecting the Kenya Airports Authority to make some changes or make some announcements regarding their management. So we're going to be speaking to Ashley Mazuri, who is at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, to bring us that update. But let's start by taking a look at our Twitter poll question this afternoon, where we're asking, what are some of the lessons, I beg your pardon, do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan? Do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan? You can use the hashtag Business Today, or you can go to our Twitter handle at Joy Doreen Bira, and you can be able to let us know what you think. You think they're doing enough? Yes or no? You're able to vote according to our Twitter poll question. And now let's take a look at some of the other business highlights. And I guess we will start by taking a look at the money markets and get you up to date. You know, we have been enjoying, I think, a strong shilling for the past so many months. And of course, the fact that we did see the news of Brexit that even made matters better for us. Take a look at the pound sterling here. It's buying at about 132 shillings and 25 cents, and I think it's buying at 112 shillings and 56 cents and selling at 132 shillings and 25 cents. There was just a bit of an interchange over there. And the US dollar is buying at 101 shillings and 16 cents and selling at 101 shillings and 36 cents, while the euro is buying at 112 shillings and 5 cents and selling at 112 shillings and 31 cents. So we're still seeing the Kenya shilling maintaining some steady strength right there. The NFC performance at close of markets yesterday, the turnover stood at 548 million and the number of shares traded stood at 21 million worth. The NFC 20 share index was at 3,661.58. It has shed some points right there. And the bonds traded, we are looking at 1.9 billion worth of bonds traded at close of markets yesterday. And let's take a look at the most active stocks as per this afternoon. Safaricom moved a volume of 7.39 million shares. That is as at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Barclays Bank of Kenya moved 6.43 million, and Equity had moved 3.30 million shares, while Kenokobel had moved slightly over 800,000 shares right there. Let's take a look at the winners as of this afternoon, and let's see. Flame Tree Group have gone up 8.41%, with the share going at 5 shillings and 80 cents, while Atlas Development has gone up 8.33%, with the share going at 1 shilling and 30 cents. East Africa Cables has gone up 8.11%, with the share going at 8 shillings, and Uchumi right here has gone up 7.14%, with the share going at 3 shillings. Let's take a look at the losing stocks very quickly. We can have those. Portland Cement right here gone down 8.96% as at 2 p.m. and Williamson Tea had gone down 7.58%. Nation Media Group not doing too well either at the trading right here, have gone down 6.85%, and Samir as well have gone down 5.36%. This is as at 2 p.m. It's likely to change, of course, by close of markets. That's going to be at 3 p.m. but that's just a quick look at the markets this afternoon. Now, let's take a look at what's happening in South Sudan. And business remains paralyzed in parts of South Sudan, with companies and small business owners counting their losses following the fighting that broke out in the capital, Juba, last week. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar ordered their loyalists to cease hostilities amid renewed eruptions of fighting in the capital, Juba. Western envoys joined regional grouping IGAD to warn South Sudan leaders to end their country's war or face the consequences. So we are hoping to speak to one of the Kenyans who are living in South Sudan. That is Dr. Emily Okoiti, who is a youth representative for the Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission based in Juba, but she'll be joining us very shortly via phone. Away from that, a month after Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich proposed the draft Finance Bill 2016, audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers today provided insight and analysis on the Finance Bill gazetted on the 10th of June. According to tax partner Titus Mukora, the bill reintroduces the requirement for banks to hold core capital of at least 5 billion shillings by the 31st of December 2019, with a progressive increase in the intervening period, with only 22 out of the 44 banks in Kenya having met the higher core capital requirement at as of the 31st of December 2015. This move is expected to trigger discussions around mergers as well as acquisitions to create larger, better funded and more stable banks in the country.
I want to focus on two broad aspects that we've actually picked up from our interaction with this legislation. So there is clearly an intent by the government to actually promote the service industry or the service sector, as well as the encouragement of the manufacturing sector in the country. So if I talk about, say, the service sector, so the focus has mainly been on the tourism sector. So earlier on in the year, or I believe as back as, say, the previous year, there was pronouncements by the president that, hold on, we're actually going to make tourism more appealing to tourists coming into Kenya. And there was mentioned that there was going to be an exemption from VAT of park entrance fee. So that was a pronouncement that was never backed by law, but we've seen now that actually enshrined in the VAT legislation, that park entry fee is actually going to be exempted from VAT. The other fee that is also going to be exempt from a VAT perspective is any services offered by tour operators that are charged on a commission basis. So in essence, what the government is trying to do is to make these services more affordable to the tourists, whether local or international tourists. And the question that then one has to answer is exemption really driving that desired reduction in the cost of some of these services? So from where we sit as a PwC, exemption might not really be the right tool, which would then, say, reduce some of these fees.
There's not been a lot of changes in the income tax side, because there's actually an intention to totally overhaul the Income Tax Act. So the changes that came forth that Ozone mentioned in passing were very few, purely because the whole act is going to be overhauled, hopefully within the next year or so. So we are looking out to receive from the National Treasury the first bill so that we can actually comment on it. Okay, so that aside, when I sort of looked at this budget and sort of read the statements by the minister and so on, I noticed that the budget theme has been consistent as it has been in the past. So the theme for the last 3-4 years, I can see some line of consistency, which is broadly a focus on broadening the tax base. By broadening the tax base means bringing in more people into the tax net. There are still a lot of Kenyans in this country of ours that are still not paying taxes. So there's the need to broaden the tax net, bring everyone who's eligible to pay tax, bring everyone into that tax net so that they can pay. Then there's the need, and this is a statement that has been made fairly consistently again by the Cabinet Secretary over the last couple of years. There's the need to improve the revenue administration by the tax authority. This is the KRA. So broadening the tax base. Do Kenyans feel overtaxed? If you look at some of the statistics that are out there, what I can call ordinary revenues, with a significant component of that being tax revenues. If you take that as a percentage of our GDP, the percentage that you get over the last 3 years for Kenya is it's basically around 20%. which according to World Bank benchmarks, that's a good percentage drop. So our tax revenues as a percentage of our GDP is approximately 20%. I think, matter of fact, in 2015, 2016, it was 20.3%. And I believe the target going into 2016, 2017 is going to be 21%. It's a very good percentage. We're above the World Bank set benchmarks. So it means that the tax authorities are extracting revenues from us efficiently. Although you might not feel it, it's efficiently. When we compare that benchmark, that statistic against our peers in the East African community, we find that Kenya's ratio is the highest. So it means Kenyans are being taxed more efficiently than our counterparts within the EAC.
Dairy industry regulator is pushing to have a Sacco model akin to the matatu industry among milk traders in a bid to streamline and transform the sector. According to the Kenya Dairy Board Managing Director Margaret Rugut, the Saccos will enable traders self-regulate, access credit facilities and equipment. Through the initiative, traders will come up with means of ensuring that players comply with the dairy sector regulations while receiving guidance on how they will operate from the board. The dairy industry has been one of the fastest growing in the economy, averaging at over 5% per year, currently contributing 4.5% to the country's GDP and 44% of the agricultural GDP. It is estimated that 55% of milk produced is marketed, while 45% is consumed at the farm. Now let's take a look at cars, and Toyota Kenya recently unveiled the all-new generations of Toyota Hilux and Toyota Fortuner. The Toyota Hilux goes into its 8th generation, while the Fortuner SUV begins its 2nd generation. The new Hilux and Fortuner models are said to be designed for Kenya, focusing on changing personal preferences, lifestyle, infrastructure, technological and agricultural advancements. And the new models come with fresh new designs, new technology and better performance, which has been a strong point of the Toyota brand for decades. The new Fortuner has been regarded as the must-have model for a Kenyan that seeks a luxurious SUV, tough and powerful, yet uncompromising on comfort. Toyota Kenya says it is committed to growing the local auto business by aggressively expanding branches and also appointing authorized dealers to ensure availability of spare parts and ease customers' reach to repair services. And joining us now to have that conversation is the chairman for Toyota Kenya, Ambassador Dennis Awori. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you. So there's been quite a bit of competition, despite the fact that I guess 1 in every 5 cars we see on our roads is a Toyota, but competition is hotting up as well. How are you taking that at Toyota Kenya?
First of all, I think your statistics are a bit off.
Are they?
Yeah? Definitely more than one
it's
car
1 in
out
2.
of 5 is a Toyota.
Well, you can give us the figures now.
But let me start by just backtracking a bit. A few years ago, in the aftermath of the huge recalls that Toyota were forced to make, we were privileged to have the president of Toyota Motor Corporation, who's also the grandson of the founder of Toyota, visit Kenya. And during that visit, he made a commitment. He told us that up until then, Toyota was known for reliable cars, for tough cars, but somewhat boring cars. But going forwards, they're going to continue to be tough, continue to be reliable, but become very, very exciting. That began with the launch of the RAV4 at the beginning of this year. If you look at it, it's a much bigger, more exciting car. And now we have the new Hilux and the new Fortuner. The Hilux has been our bread and butter, been definitely the businessman's car of choice.
Yeah.
It's now much more exciting, and we have increased the range so that you can have a single cabin, manual, double cabin, automatic, with electric windows and all the creature comforts.
Right.
And then the Fortuner. Of course, our Prado is the car of choice for governors, members of parliament,
Yeah.
Industry leaders.
So those are specifically for those kinds of people. But we know that the majority that we have in the
Are
country
younger.
today are the younger people.
Correct.
And also the small business owners as
Yeah.
well. But we are in a generation as well where we are seeing a number of car companies or car manufacturers making cars or tailoring them for specific markets. And I think that's a trend as well that we have seen with Toyota. But then how is Toyota dealing with competition in that area?
Our reaction to the competition is to add value to our offering.
Yeah.
And we have a very, very developed value chain. For the commercials and our Land Cruiser pickup, that value chain begins with local assembly. It then comes to our showroom. So we sell it to you in, and I think you've seen our showrooms, in world-class showrooms. We then provide in-house financing through our own company, Social Capital. We look after the vehicle during the time that you're using it, providing spare parts, bodywork, service, maintenance, and we make sure that our maintenance facility is never far from you. Here in Nairobi, we've opened three branches so far.
Yeah.
We've opened one in Westlands, we've opened opening one on Gong Road, and we've opened one on Enterprise Road.
Okay.
Elsewhere in the country, we're appointing Toyota-approved service centers in as far-flung places as Mandera, Wajir, Garissa. We have our own branch in Lodwar. So we're always close to you for maintenance.
All right.
And then at the end of its life with you, we trade it in through our own used unit company, Toyotsu Automat, which was purpose-built for it, and again, to world-class standards. And then supporting all that, we have the Toyota Kenya Academy that trains and ensures that the people working on your cars are the very best. So we add value.
So you talked about trading in, and that is for the brand new cars. But then again, we also have an influx of second-hand cars or already used cars making their way into Kenya. Give us the numbers. Are we seeing more buy-ins for brand new cars and less of the second-hand cars or imported cars for that matter?
I wish that was the case. No. The imports of used units are probably between 7 and 10 times as many new cars. The new car market lately has fluctuated between about 15 and 20,000 vehicles per year. Sorry?
Why so?
Well, first of all, Kenyans like variety, one. And two, the second-hand cars are good value. And that's why we too, after long ignoring the importation of used units, set up a company to target that sector of the market.
Okay. And, when you look at a number of car companies as well globally, we have seen VW as well that has been cautioned regarding pollution. How is Toyota helping or even playing a role in ensuring that they bring down the pollution levels?
Toyota has always been at the cutting edge of technological advancement, and especially in the sector of hybrids. Our Toyota Prius, which we will be exhibiting at the forthcoming Tokyo International Conference for Africa's Development, is the best-selling hybrid in the world. It's a very, very good car, highly economical. People get figures of up to 25, 30 kilometers per liter from it. And in traffic, it works off the battery. And when you need the speed, the motor kicks in. And as we know, most of the pollution happens during traffic. So during traffic, it's a silent, electrically driven car.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Ambassador. We do appreciate the time taken to come talk to us about some of the additions to the Toyota Kenya family, that is the Toyota Hilux and the Toyota Fortuner. And in case you are thinking of buying them, you might want to check them out wherever it is they are in the showrooms across the country. But thank you so much for coming to speak to us. And we'll now take a short break. When we return, we are going to be speaking to Kiprono Kitoni. We are having the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry elections on Thursday. Well, a good time to find out exactly what has been achieved throughout his term, but also how he is taking the competition from the rest of the contenders. We're going to have that conversation shortly. Do stay with us. We had planned for one, yeah. Yes? Yes, two more. Not at the same time. One at a time, yeah. Okay. Okay. Welcome back. You're watching Business Today here on KTN News. Now, the chairman and board of directors of the Kenya Airports Authority, KAA, is this afternoon set to announce changes in the management of the Kenya Airports Authority, and our reporter Ashley Mazuri is keeping an eye on that story and now joins us via phone. Ashley, good afternoon. What can you tell us about the changes being made at the Kenya Airports Authority?
Good afternoon, Joy. As you're aware, Kenya Airport Authority has been searching for a CEO for the past year, where we know that acting managing director of KAA has been Yati Chungungo. We also know that the the whole authority has been facing two challenges for the past couple of years, where we're seeing in 2015, Stephen Gishuki was sent on terminal leave. Afterwards, the CEO was Lucy Mbugua, who was also sent on leave on alleged allegations on corruption. But then earlier this year, James Macharia, who's the CSO Transport, stopped the whole process of getting a new CEO and appointed PricewaterhouseCoopers to conduct the exercise afresh.
Right.
They were going to be knowing who is going to be the next CEO. And also, Joy, if you read the newspapers today, the same authority has advertised 7 managerial positions. So we're yet to know why they're doing this. And also the authority has been having 13 acting positions where people are acting as the positions, where we're having people who are acting instead of being confirmed. They're also going to know all this, what is happening, and what they can tell us on the way forward.
All right, and Ashley, you know, the position of the KAA managing director or CEO for that matter has been vacant for quite some time, and the cabinet secretary for transport and infrastructure has not been in a hurry to, you know, have somebody take up this position, but he also has had reasons for that, and there have been some allegations of interference as well as corrupt dealings, but what are they saying are the expectations this time round?
Well, right, of now, we haven't started the function, so we're yet to know. But I'll keep you posted once we get that information, and I will let you know.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Ashley. That is Ashley Mazuri, and we are going to be giving you updates as and when we get them regarding the changes at the Kenya Airports Authority. Now, the Green Enterprise Challenge held in Voi is also meant to ensure conservation of the environment and natural resources in the county after several entrepreneurs participated in inventing new ideas on how to conserve the environment and natural resources in the county. After several entrepreneurs participated in inventing new ideas on how to conserve the environment and natural resources. Now, Chief Executive Officer at Micro Enterprise Program Trust, Priscilla Gathiga, said that they involved entrepreneurs whose ideas will see them competing through exhibitions for judges to advise. She added that good ideas stand a chance towards funding and actualization. Emmanuel Mongoma, founder of Sacco Tented Camp, congratulated the organizers of the event, saying it has enabled them to market the ideas and get partners, together with learning new methods of improving the ideas. Mongoma, however, mentioned that the rate of tourism has greatly reduced due to human activities that have destroyed the environment, and Gathiga also adds that they are planning to involve more counties in the Green Enterprise Challenge to promote environment or environmental conservation.
Tuweze kupokea wageni locally. Kama tunavyojua, 2/3 of American tourists wanapenda sana green holidays, na sisi tunaofa hizo green holidays kwetu kule Masoko. Vile vile 20% ya Kenyan tourists pia wanataka option ya green holidays. Kwa hivyo ndio tumekuja na hii venture kuona kwamba kadiri tunapozidi kutunza mazingira, pia sisi tunafadhili. Tunafadhili kwa njia gani? Kuleta wageni, ile revenue tunapata tunaisambaza kwa community ili kuhakikisha kwamba tunaondoa umaskini katika hii nyanda yetu ya Taita.
They have gone through an academy that is training them how to model their businesses and also how to pitch them for investment, because we believe when you can convince a potential investor who is the person with the money and you have the idea, then you will be able to create a solid relationship and you will see that business established. So for now, I would say that the case studies of what we have seen is we have seen projects like youth and waste management. They are doing very well. In the coast province, we have some youth who are making products out of waste from the coconut.
Now, on to some news about the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who are going to be having the elections this Thursday. We are also seeing the elections hotting up. Yesterday, we did see a number of contenders as well coming forward and saying, hey, it's time for us to have new leadership. But is it yet that time? The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, that is KCCI, leadership is set to hold elections this Thursday, where 10 delegates from each of the 47 counties are set to converge in Nairobi to elect a new office. The new office is expected to spearhead the exhibition of Kenya's potential in trade and industry in the international market. Sharif Ahmed has accused the current office of mismanaging the Chamber's funds. But is it true or is it not? And let's now speak to the current chair, that is Kiprono Kitoni, who is the current chair of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And he also joins us with James Murrell, who is the chairman of the National Economic Diplomacy Committee for the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce in Mombasa County. Well, thank you both for joining us this afternoon. There's so many allegations that are being made, but I guess they are entitled to their opinion. But I would like to hear from you, Mr. Kiprono. What do you make of those allegations?
I'll start by saying that as we come to the end of our tenure, our first term, we've had a tremendous transformation in the Chamber.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 3 years has seen the Chamber get back its place of pride in the hearts of business community in Kenya. In fact, we are rated as the most vibrant chamber across the continent of Africa. Hence the reason that I'm one of 2 representatives who represent Africa in the World Chambers Federation.
Yeah.
We've done a lot. I mean, we relaunched and rebranded the chamber. We introduced trustees who are now responsible for all the assets of the chamber. The chamber has been at the forefront of the economic diplomacy agenda. We've been the ones receiving and sending delegations together with the government, with the president. We've also, have an agenda now for the counties, and we've restored issuance of certificate of origin. And I would say, by and large, that it has been a tremendously great success story. And we are seeking our re-election, and I have my candidate for National Vice Chairman, James Murrell, who has led the economic diplomacy agenda.
Yes. Also
Also led the most effective county chapter. And going forward in the next 3 years, we want to really look at what we can do for the counties.
Interesting. All right. So, Murrell, of course, knowing that now you are going in for a vice chairperson of this position, what do you hope to bring on board, knowing that we are seeing so many people interested in this position?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think for me, it's more about what experience I've gained, hands-on experience. And the partnership with my brother Kiprono Kitoni will only add value. I've ran a successful county branch, and anybody who wants to find out the truth, I invite them to visit the Mombasa County branch office and see what it is that we've done in 3 years. We had no office, we had nothing in 3 years ago. Today we have a vibrant office. And contrary to a lot of allegations that are going up in the air, I think it's incumbent upon those people to prove what it is that has been misappropriated. But for me, I think in terms of economic diplomacy, yes, we have crisscrossed the world, the country with the president. And even yesterday when Prime Minister Modi said, the Deputy President said, they should consider what Prime Minister Modi has done. He's crisscrossing around the world to try and bring investors into the country.
Right.
And that is the largest responsibility of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. It is to attract networks of businesses into the country.
Okay.
And that's where we're also present in 177 countries around the world. For
Right.
me, that's
so
a big...
let's talk about what is going to change in the coming term. Mr. Kiprono, you have done quite a bit in marketing Kenya across the globe and ensuring that, trade is synergized between Kenya and the rest of the world. But then again, are we doing enough to open up our counties nationally?
Thank you very much. If you look at my manifesto, it actually reads Raudihinia counties. That is exactly what we intend to do over the next 3 years.
The previous round was not really based on the counties.
Let me just talk about that. I think we found an institution that was completely defunct. We found a chamber that had no members. It wasn't offering any services. Its assets had been looted. It basically was non-existent. In fact, it was at the verge of being removed from the list of companies in Kenya. So we've changed all that, and we've now put the chamber back in business, hence the reason why we have so much competition now. In fact, I think the proof of our success is the fact that we have as much competition as we do today. And the allegations that are being made are merely, a way, different people use different means to get relevant.
Right.
And I think on Thursday we shall be complying with all the provisions of the Companies Act. We shall be presenting our audit report, and we shall then take this organization to its next level if we are given the chance by delegates. And the next level is three things that we are focusing on. Number one, we want to be the primary advocates for SMEs in Kenya. Number two, we want to offer a credible and a very interesting value proposition for our membership.
Right.
And number three, and most important of them all, is that we want to really take the gains and the successes that we've attained to the 47 county chapters that we have in Kenya.
All right. Let's take a look at the recent visits by two prime ministers of Israel and India, which was the most recent. It was quite evident that we're having an imbalance of trade between Kenya and the rest of these two countries, particularly Israel and India. But what are we doing to close that gap?
Let me talk about, first of all, I think let's talk about the relevance of these visits.
Yeah.
And there have actually been 5. It's unprecedented and it is remarkable that there have been 5 world leaders visit Kenya in the last 1 month. We've had Korea, we've had Turkey, Ethiopia, Israel, and now India. And in all of them, there have been transactions concluded that create additional employment in Kenya and give more opportunity to the Kenya private sector. Now, the balance of trade is a matter that we all are concerned about because we have negative balance of trade with most of our major trading partners.
Yeah.
In the specific case of India, yesterday, if you follow the forum, one of the asks that we made of Prime Minister Modi is for one-way market access for Kenyan goods into India.
Yeah.
We've asked for a program that is similar to AGOA. In fact, we even coined a name of as AGOA, Asia Growth and Opportunity Act. And we would like to see Kenyan goods make its way into India. There's a lot of opportunity in garments. Indian market requires pulses, coffee and tea, and very many other products. And we are also able to import their cotton and finish it in Kenya, use the provisions of the special economic zones, and do more business. So I think we need to look at the positives and really look at the way we can level out the balance of trade situation.
And increase exports to those specific countries. All right. Mr. Morel, finally to you. You talked about economic diplomacy. How are we going to ensure this kind of diplomacy, trickles down to the counties?
Thank you very much. I think part of what Kiprono has said is that we are looking at inbound trades and trade delegations. And if those of you who know about the Indian economy, it's largely dependent on value addition. They have a lot of cottage industries and industries that have a meaning in our country. I mean, if we trickle down that to our SMEs, then we'll start growing them. And for us, I think we're looking at now an intensified relationship with the counties. We have already signed an MOU with the Council of Governors, and we have established a good working relationship with the Council of Governors.
Yes.
It is now time for us to unlock that full potential so that we are able to then get the benefits down to the grassroots. We have made the international level connection, we have made the government level connection, and now we're going down to the bottom level. And I think that's a structured way of engaging. Now we have something we can talk to the counties. 3 years ago, we were all learning about the counties, and really there wasn't much we would have done. So we have put structures in place that will enable us to unlock that potential.
And hopefully these structures can be used to the best of our knowledge in the coming term.
Yes.
Thank you both so much for joining us in this edition of Business Today. We have been speaking to the current chair and also still vying for the same position, that is Kiprono Kitoni, the chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and his running mate, am I allowed to call him that?
Yes.
His running mate, James Morel, who is also the chair of the National Economic Diplomacy Committee, Mombasa County, for the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. Well, let's now take a look at a reminder of our Twitter poll question, where we are asking, do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan? Do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan following the intense fighting that broke out that was last week? So we'd like to hear from you. You can use the hashtag Business Today, and you can also visit our Twitter handle, that is at KTN News, and be able to tell us exactly what you think about that. Would like to take a look at what you are saying here on Twitter. We're having one called Caleb who is saying, lately we have a whole bunch of selfish leaders who do not care about the livelihoods of the people in South Sudan. Those are some of the views coming through, but let's see if we can get some more regarding a Twitter poll question. Let's see. We're having Joyce who is saying, what we are seeing currently in South Sudan is the making of the two rival leaders. If we can't sort out their issues, then nobody is going to sort them out for them. There's some of the views coming through regarding South Sudan, and we'd like to hear from you as well and hear what you have to say about this. But now let's also focus our attention on Saccos in the country today. There are some new regulations now governing the Saccos in the country today, and we are now joined by Francis Nganga, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Metropolitan National Sacco Limited. Thank you so much for joining us and for being patient as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot that happens when it comes to Saccos. A lot of people say they are the biggest thing to ever happen to small and medium enterprises today. Right. But of course, we also have new regulations in the country governing Saccos. Yes. How do you think these regulations are going to impact on Saccos in the country today?
Thank you very much. Let me begin by saying a while ago, cooperatives, particularly Saccos, were taken to be for the poor, for the low salaried employees. Yeah. But it has come to be that it's a very important vehicle for economic development, socio-economic development for the majority of the Kenyans. Yeah. And going straight to the question of the day is that before we had the regulator, we've seen that most people didn't have that confidence that Saccos are really financial institutions. But with the coming up of the regulator, that is SASRA, Sacco Statistics Regulatory Authority, we have now an organization, a government institution that can, vouch for us and say such and such a Sacco is operating in the best way because we have those standards that they have set for us, just like the Central Bank of Kenya has standards that it has set for the commercial banks. All right.
And just like you put it, what we're looking at right now is that we are also seeing that Saccos are being used as safe havens for people who are trying to, or who are violating bank regulations, especially the banks themselves. And in a way, I think we also need to talk about the fact that Saccos have a role to play in ensuring financial transparency. Yes. How is, for instance, Metropolitan Sacco ensuring that there is transparency within the Sacco?
Thank you very much. First of all, Metropolitan National Sacco was a small Sacco that was based at Kiambu for teachers only. But over the years, we have grown to hit a membership of over 80,000 across the country, and a total assets of base of about 9 billion Kenyan shillings. And those figures, they themselves tell stories in that the Kenyans, the Kenyan people have a lot of confidence in what Metropolitan itself is doing. First of all, annually we hold our annual general meetings quite early in the year, and we pay dividends, of course, after presenting the financial statements. And we also ensure that we give loans, because that is one of the major objectives of a Sacco, savings and credit, on very, very timely basis, so that we live up to our expectations. Then monthly, we do send reports to SASRA, who are the regulators, detailing what we've been doing for the last 1 month. And those figures, those statistics really tell what we've been doing and add to the confidence of the investors. Okay.
Yes. And how many members do you have so far?
So far, as I've said, like 3-5 years ago, we had 5,000 members. 5,000. But we opened a common board, our common board, to let all formerly employed persons within the Republic of Kenya to join Metropolitan. Currently, we have slightly over 80,000 members who are spread all over the Republic of Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Francis Nganga, for coming to speak to us about some of the latest developments, of course, with Metropolitan Sacco Limited. It's such an honor speaking to you. And that is Francis Nganga, Chief Executive for Metropolitan Sacco Limited. Now, let's take a look at our Twitter poll results, where we asked, do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan? Do you think IGAD is doing enough to safeguard the livelihoods of those living and working in South Sudan? 10% of you are saying yes, IGAD is doing enough. 72% are saying no, IGAD is not doing enough, while 18% of the Twitter respondents do not know either of the above. I guess have no idea or something. But would like to say thank you all so much for watching. But news just coming in this afternoon is that Johnny Anderson is the new managing director for the Kenya Airports Authority. That is a Norwegian national who is now the new managing director for the Kenya Airports Authority. Now remember, the Kenya Airports Authority has been having issues to do with the appointment. In fact, the previous recruitment exercise was suspended when the cabinet secretary said he had cited interference. And now we are seeing a new managing director being named as well, Johnny Anderson. We'll give you more updates throughout our consecutive bulletins here on KTN News. Coming up next is Worldview. My name is Joy Doreen Bira. Thank you for watching Business Today. For more business, log on to our website, ktnnews.com.